2 of my crochet book chat. In part 1 I went through beginner crochet books, stitch dictionaries and crochet garment books. I think that was it. And in this one we've got left Amigurumi, my vintage collection of all my retro crochet books from the past, and a good old stack of kind of like collection specific designs from specific designers. So when they've released a book and it's all their own designs and a mixture of all kinds of crochet good things. So that's what we're going to go through for part 2. I got myself a new cup of tea because the other one went cold because I was talking too long. That's when I knew I needed to have a break, and that's when I knew that probably this needed to be split into 2. So by all means go and find the first video. You can watch them together or independently of one another. I'm not going to do anything crossing over. So if your interest lies in garments and stitch dictionaries and whatever else I talked about, the learner books, then pop across to episode 1, part 1. But for this one, let's get stuck in, because I've got lots and lots to go through. My smallest pile is Amigurumi, so I'll start there. I've got this many of Amigurumi books. I've got more in terms of things like magazines and free supplements that I just kept just in case I ever felt like making a Peter Rabbit or a little Easter bunny or something like that. I've kept magazine freebies for Amigurumi, but as a general rule, I don't make Amigurumi anymore. I used to. It used to be something that I was really into and really enjoyed, and so I do have Amigurumi books, but I think also I got rid of, maybe I had twice this many, and I got rid of some because I just knew I wasn't going to make any. For Christmas once I got a Toft kit, and I don't know if you know Toft, I'm sure you do. Edward's Menagerie was the very first one, which had lots of wonderful crochet toys from Toft, and then that was the first one, and since then there have been a plethora of different crochet animals and creatures and dollies from Toft, but this is the only Toft book I have, and it's got all sorts of animal-y things in it. But actually there's a couple I would love to have, but would I ever make them, the patterns from it, because I've got no call to make toys anymore. My boys have grown up. This one is a Christmas present from my mum, and every now and again she goes, "Have you made anything from that book yet?" No, Mum. But I just thought it was lovely, and so did she, which is why she bought it for me. So it's this dolly, a fabulous crochet doll pattern with over 50 cute crochet doll clothes and accessories. I just think this is such a lovely idea. But again, oh, it's so cute. The ones that I've kept are the ones that are basically, if I was going to start doing it again, I would use these books to do it. And true to form, actually, this dolly has all sorts of accessories. She's got hats and coats, dungarees. I think it's wonderful. But I'm just never going to get around to making it. Maybe I'll have to keep it for a bajillion years, and if I ever have grandchildren, then I'll start making stuff from it. But we're skipping ahead to the future there. So this one is fabulous. Anything by Vanessa Moonsey is brilliant. I mean, it's such workmanship. It's so well done. And this one is all about crochet birds, and there's all sorts of birds in here, and the one I made was a Christmas robin, and he comes out every Christmas. This is a swan, not a robin. And I wish I maybe one day I'll remake my Robin, because the tension on his head was a little bit small, and so he's got a very small head, bless him. Maybe one day I'll do it again. But look, aren't they? They're just they're works of art, especially when displayed in their bell jars or whatever they're called. It would be nice to have a budgie. I do have a crochet budgie, actually. It's upstairs, and it's from this book. This is another Japanese book I have. I say another because in part 1 I showed a Japanese book, which was crochet socks. This one is Amigurumi, and it's got the cutest things inside. I will make this crocodile one day, and this panda is so cute. I've yet to crochet a panda for my son. I need to do that because he is a panda fan. It does have step-by-step instructions. It's got photos, which are useful, and the text is in Japanese, but I've managed to follow the patterns just by using the charts, so don't let that put you off. It's got some brilliant little things inside. I love these. I love these. These, oh my god, they're so cute. And I'm fairly sure, yeah. So I've made these little guys before. I've got one green one and one blue one somewhere. And they were super easy to make, really. There's lots of, as well as amigurumi, there's also flat motifs too. I love this book. It is one that I just enjoy looking at the pictures. I've got this one, and I without looking in it, I think I like the frogs. I wanted to make the frogs, but then there's some different sorts of yarn with some sort of brushed yarn that I didn't know how to get my hands on when I bought this. This is another early purchase, I think, and I was just like, how would you crochet with that? And so I discounted it straight away because I didn't know what it was, but it looked good, it looked cute. So, and then there's this one, which is nice. It's just lovely, very traditional sort of crochet amigurumi stuff. And it's funny because the one thing I want to make in here is actually a teddy's teddy. I don't know if I'll find it, but basically it was the teeniest, tiniest toy teddy that a teddy could have for himself. A dinky teddy. I tried to make him into a panda once, but it all went wrong, and so I gave up. But yeah, traditional Ami stuff. And then this one was one of my favourites. I loved it. And this maker, Elizabeth Doherty, is an amazing talent. I remember, I think I found her, this is pre-Instagram. I think she had a blog, and the dolls she made were beautiful. And she may well now not be crocheting dolls, but making clay dolls. And articulated dolls with articulated limbs, and they are just beautiful. So if you Google, I don't know if she's still working, but my word, they were just such beautiful dollies. And one of the reasons I bought this book was because of this fella, and he sits up. I made him, and he sits up on my shelf, and I made him years ago, and he was a challenge. This is not amigurumi for the faint-hearted. Some humanoids, they are called, humanoids. And how to make these, and I really wanted to make this cat at one point. Wanted to do a lot of things, never got around to it. It's just really proper, good, stylish crochet for amigurumi stuff. I really like it. So those are my Ami books. And then you do get a lot of Ami patterns in magazines and stuff, which is always good. Right, 2 categories left. And actually this one's a bit, I've got a mix of books and magazines. I hope that's okay. I got this for Christmas. Finally, people are understanding what I like. So this is crochet shawls and knit shawls and macrame shawls. But lots of proper, nice, old school crochet. Is that a Solomon's knot? No. You see a lot of stuff like this about these days, so it's all coming back around. I think this is beautiful. I adore it. It's fabulous. So have another look because it's amazing. There's lots of crochet shawls. Of course there is. That's what this book is about. But what I like about the 1970s is the shawls are always huge. Really huge projects. That one looks like it's knitted. And I love the fringing and the tassels and the frills. It's just so good. So good. You find a lot of these in charity shops. I've done before. I have done. And with just things like this. Little headscarves, they're crochet as well. And or a headscarf, a hat, a bag, a shawl. Awesome. Again, a lot of this, some of this is knitted because I've inherited stuff off my nana. And I think I used to wear that one when I was a teenager. And my nana used to knit me doll clothes for my Sydney. So I'm glad I've got those. But most of the magazines that my nana had were knitting, so I won't go into those. This is knitting as well, but I thought it's just so bang on right now. 80s geometric stripes, proper sort of primary colours, just brilliant. It is knitting though, but still fabulous inspiration. It looks like that. Smash Knits by Wendy. Don't see much Wendy wool anymore. I'm going to keep that one out. It's going to be some inspo. Yeah, I've got loads. You just sort of pick them up in charity shops, as I said, but some of them are like 10p. And you get some great ideas from them. The Montricot ones, I remember, I wish I'd bought more actually, because there was, somebody must have died and their collection had gone to a charity shop, and there was about 2-3 big boxes full of these Montricot little magazines. And I sort of gave myself a talking to and said I was only allowed to buy 5 or something like that. And so left an awful lot behind. But I do know, I'm fairly sure that having spoken to somebody I met on Instagram who lives in town, she had also stumbled across the same collection and treated herself to a handful of patterns too. So the fact that I had restricted myself meant other people could buy themselves those patterns and magazines too. So it kind of meant that the love was shared, and I wasn't a greedy guts. Not normally quite so nice, so well done me. Yeah, I just love them. They just break it, why don't you? I remember being tickled by that. Thought it was hilarious. That's knitted. Balaclavas. I never thought I'd say this. Balaclavas are so hot right now. But you see trends coming back again. So it's quite funny to see them in these old mags. And I do like the fact that the shawl is celebrated so much in the 70s. Crochet shawl. It's brilliant. And also the fact that this Montricot, it's knitting and crochet. So they're both kind of given the same weight. And also they are both used in the same project. So this is crochet and knit, which you don't seem to get anymore. So I wonder where this separation between the two came from. And then going back probably a bit further is stuff like this. And all the pineapple whatnots, motifs. It's all lovely to look at, isn't it? I don't know why I've got this knitted sock pattern there. I think that might come from my mother-in-law's mother. So I've got to look after them. What else have I got? This is Granny Squares. The Woman's Day Book of Granny Squares and Other Carry-Along Crochet. Carry-along crochet. What does that mean? Is that... I don't know what it is. The instructions and whatnot are illustrated. But this is very much about the Granny Square and celebrating the Granny Square. I have shown this book before. It's got some brilliant stuff in it that just fabulous. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? This is the tie I made a couple of years ago now. So all sorts of granny inspired designs there. I've got quite a few vintage books actually. So some of them might just be old. They're not necessarily classed as vintage, I suppose, because actually there's a couple here that were printed in the 90s, but they look, this just goes to show how quickly we forget, because looking at these books that were printed in the 90s, I would have sworn that they were 1980s stuff. But just the blurring of fashions, it means I'm old, doesn't it? So, but let me just hold up. Give myself a workout. So I've got a mixture here, but most of them are garments. So this could have gone into the garment category. And they're all different. This one actually is not just garments, it's techniques, it's squares, and let me see if I can find something for you. I think this one's quite a good one actually, if I recall. It's got charts for how to do sweaters. Got a simple looking sweater there. A lot of squares, but I love, isn't that fabulous? Good jumper. Let's see what, if I just flick through, let's see if I can catch some pages. There's another chart. The dude with a waistcoat. Nice. What else we got? This one, it's called Treasury of Crochet Techniques and Patterns, Sedgewood Press. I like that one. This one a lady at work gave to me. She retired. It was only supposed to be a lend, but then she decided not to come back when COVID happened, and so she left the book with me, and I've brought it home. But I think she'd be okay with that. It's knitting and crochet. There'll be people that have these. They're just like everywhere in grandma's collections, aren't they? There's this one, which is very, very dated. Crochet Style, Sarah Harding. One of these my mum bought for me at a jumble, I'm sure. And although the colour work and whatnot is dubious, it's actually really interesting and good techniques and good colour work. The shades might be a bit not for me, but is that Tunisian? That looks Tunisian. Must be. Yes, it is. Again, I've earmarked pages which I'm drawn to. There's some good stuff in here actually, and there's charts which is useful, and the schematics are good. Some of the fashions again kind of like they change so that they become Uggo, but you know, it's a hit and miss. Some things are good, some things are bad. I quite like that. The sort of a joy that I get from looking through these books and knowing that you might sort of think, oh my God, I've just designed the most amazing thing. But then you see the years and years of design that's gone before you, and you realise that actually it's nothing new, and people have thought about things very similar to you before, or you're reminded how everything comes around in circles and blah blah blah. This one is brilliant. I love it. Glorious Crocheted Sweaters, Nola Theus. See, this is one of the 1990s ones that I would have sworn was from the 80s. Let me get to some pictures. But you know, actually, if I sort of asked myself to go back in time and remember, I could. Yeah, of course, it is sort of early 90s style. Some charts and schematics. See, I mentioned in part 1 about crochet garments being in their infancy, but actually people have been working on them. We're seeing stuff like this at the moment, aren't we? Really popular. This one was given to me by a podcast viewer. I think it's Ellie, isn't it, if I remember rightly. Thank you so much for this. It was sent a few months ago now, but I don't think I ever showed it off. But it's a real corker of a book. Great Crocheted Sweaters in a Weekend. See, this is Nola Theus as well, so it's almost like a sister to this one. So we've got stitches, tips and techniques, pullovers, cardigans, summerwear, children's wear, blah, 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 blah. Let's just skip the first bits and let's have a check out of some of these patterns. Very of the moment, I would suggest. Quite like that. My sister would like that. One of them anyway. I like this. All sorts of cool stuff. Yeah, if you're lucky, you'll find it on Amazon or just on a second-hand bookseller type place. I made my son a baby cardigan before he was born and he wore it about twice. Lots of mohair in these ones, you see, because mohair is in the Crochet Sweater book. Sylvia Coish. See, there must have been a moment, yeah, where I wonder what... I'm missing a period of early noughties crochet garment books then, I think. And a lot of these, I don't know about this book, I don't know which books it is, but a lot of the stuff as well it incorporates both. So you quite often have crochet main pieces of fabric and the ribbing is knitted. That seems to be a thing that features more regularly in these sorts of books. Yeah, it's not great. But it doesn't matter because actually sometimes it will still produce ideas and inspiration. This one, Crocheting for Pleasure. I don't think I've read this one very much. This is a lot of stitch patterns that have been illustrated. Vogue Guide to Crochet. All you need to know to be an expert. It's funny, I've kind of stopped remembering where I found these, but when you stumble across one in a charity shop, it's very exciting. I don't think this one had as much in it as I thought it would have. But I'm not going to leave a crochet book behind. And then there's this one, which is the New Directions in Crochet, David and Charles. David and Charles, still going strong as a publisher. And they're based in Exeter, which is just up the road. So this is what this one is. It must have had a dust jacket at some point, but Anne Raybon Ooh. See, this is an early one with charts, which is pretty impressive. Falling under the Stitch Dictionary category there. And I confess that I haven't really gone through this very much. But it does have, I mean, it's got pretty clear illustrations. I think they're hand-drawn. One last section to go. I'm glad I did split this up, actually, because otherwise I would have been talking for, well, the video would have been very long indeed. I don't think I can go through every single one, like, in detail. You will have seen me review some of these before anyway, so... but I'll tell you, I think there's all these ones which I love. These are the Crochet Project shawl books. Always beautiful, beautiful photography, and often it's really hard to choose which one you want to make. So I just end up looking at the pretty pictures. But what I do like about these books is the back. They often have a couple of pages of advice on how to sort of work shaping on shawls, which is good. I'm going to... What am I going to do? I've got a feeling that these are the sort of things you find in the works. I'm sure I bought these ones in the works for maybe between £4 and £6, something like that. And what I do like is that I know these, I know these people from Instagram. Lisa Cook, for example. This is a book full of shawl design, all different shapes and things like that. If you're a shawl lover, wonderful. What I really like about this one is that it's by Claire Montgomery, who is one of the Inside Crochet team, and it's got some lovely modern crochet designs in it. It's called Hooked, and it's homewares and accessories. But for the most part, if you're a learner crocheter, you'll be able to do most of the projects in this book. There's a nice cowl there. This is an early purchase. I remember buying this quite early on, and I really liked it as a beginner. I made the lamp. There's a lampshade cover in here. It's got the snowflakes and star shapes. There's some bunting and garland type things in here. Things like how to decorate pebbles, jar cozies, and then the photography is really nice and styled. I like the way that looks. But this one's by Roz Badger, Hook, Yarn and Crochet. Again, it's really I really like the style of it, and the things that were in it were things I wanted to make at the time. So there's wrist warmers and purses and scarves and collars and things. I think that was a really nice book. Fair Old Crochet Workshop. I confess that I haven't made anything from this, but it's got a lot of colourwork stuff. So if that's up your street, then it's a book that you might want to explore. Oh, somebody's home. If you want to make the most of your wardrobe as it is now, then why not use crochet to hack it and repair and refashion what you've already got. This is jazzing up old clothes with crochet, which I thought was a lovely idea. So there's kind of different ideas about how you can cut up your old trousers and stuff. That's a David and Charles book too. How funny. There's this one for Mosaic Crochet by Esme from Red Sparrow Crochet. Mrs. Crick does all sorts of marvellous things, from Ms. Crick. Again, well thumbed because I just love looking at the pictures. For crochet blankets, you can look no further than this one, Anna Moraes Soares. And you'll have heard me talk about this one. I think I talked about this in an old podcast episode. From Emma Escott, there's Romantic Crochet. She's got some lovely little projects in there. As has Lindsay Nunes from Lottie and Albert. That's another one I've got. So this one's a pretty new release. Another new release is the Jelly Bean Junction book, Quick Crochet, and it is just full of really quick projects that bring you kind of like instantaneous gratification because you've made something in a couple of hours, and it's fabulous. This is an early one I bought years ago, Emma Lamb, Crochet Home. I would love to make a great big giant circular granny blanket at some point. Again, that's another kind of modern, it's got a mid-century kind of stylish twist to it, and it's just like really visually appealing. Okay, I've got a couple of Molla Mills books, very modern, geometric, just really innovative crochet. Molla Mills has a great eye for detail, a great style, and I just love everything she does. And it's one of those ones where you can just look upon the designs. You don't even necessarily want to even have to make them, but just to look at them and know that they're just brilliant and amazing. Come on, book. Ooh! This one's a relatively new release, and the publisher is Lane, who are more well known for their indie knitting pattern magazines. And this one's a good one as well, from Molla Mills. And you can go on the Amazon Marketplace and buy these second hand. I mean, if I'm after a book that's relatively new, you can still get second hand copies. This one's a second hand copy. And then every now and again as well, I'll go on to, I think it's Pomodoro 24 on Etsy, because you can buy books from Japan. And again, the modern crochet that comes out of Japan is brilliant, and it's completely different to a lot of other crochet styles. No, there's not any English instructions, but there are charts, and also you can use your phone to translate the written text. But this one's about hats and bags, and I really like it. But pictures to help. And there's this one, which is this one's about motifs and them being all joined up and whatnot. Oh, here's another one. This one's a mixture of knitting and crochet. Relatively, this one's got some garments in it as well, but I think they're mostly knitted. But then there's some crochet accessories and scarves too. As it's quite new, I haven't looked in great detail at these ones, but they do look fabulous. And a corner to corner book. I wonder if there's any more corner to corner crochet books out there, because this is the only one I know of. And it's by Jess Copham, who is Make and Do Crew on Instagram. So this is specifically for corner to corner. So lots of projects about C2C. I find it interesting when I see other people do C2C, because the ideas vary so much. And then I've got a couple more, which are some more Japanese crochet books, but I think both of these are available on Instagram, and this one's translated into English. But very modern crochet with some good stitches. Well, I'm not doing very well at showing all of them, am I? And then lastly, there's this one, which is called Lacy Crochet. And yes, it has lacy crochet in it. I think I made that for my nana. Because she had one that her mother-in-law had made her in the 70s, just before she died. Her mother-in-law died. And then I made this one just before my nana died. And I've made this as well. I've got that upstairs. Very pretty. Really nice, pretty delicate stitches on this one. And I think that's your lot. I'm done. I've gone through everything. So, am I missing your favourite crochet book? Let me know what kind of books you like, and recommend maybe something that you haven't seen here. I'd love to explore it. I'm happy to splurge on a crochet book, I know that much. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, I might go and read one of these now and have a look at that underarm information in the Dora Ornstein book, because it's funny, I hadn't noticed it in there, and at the moment I am exploring underarm shaping, so that's marvellous. Yeah, I'm especially looking for books about crochet garments, so if there's one that I've talked about either in this part or the previous part, leave a comment down below, and then do all the usual stuff as well. Like her, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and happy crocheting. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Cheerio, bye bye.